What is up, everybody? It is Guy Smiley here, and in this video we are going to be taking a look at this gigantic Star Destroyer that I built. Well, it's not actually gigantic compared to some other ones that you've probably seen online, but it is probably one of the biggest things that I have ever built. It probably took me a year to build. You guys have probably, if you guys have seen my early videos, I've been working on this for a long time. It has been in my mock updates and everything for multiple months, probably even multiple years. But I am going to try to get this finished, and then I'm going to be making a mock review on that, of course. I've been working on it since the beginning of, since about the middle of last summer, actually. So it took a long time, but I finally finished it. It's kind of hard because depending on which version you look at, be it the one from the Star Wars Episode 3 Attack of the Clones, or if you look at the one from the Clone Wars TV show, then the two versions are actually different. So you have to kind of choose which one you want to base it off of. And I based this one off of the one that was seen in the 2003 animated series, apart from the coloring, because the coloring is more of an Episode 3 coloring. It's just all light gray. The ones in the 2003 animated series, they were kind of white, more whitish, and I think that this would look really cool in white, so I do want to eventually do a variant of this in white. And in the Clone Wars TV show, Star Wars The Clone Wars, we saw this with some dark red coloring, because I've been rewatching those old episodes of that series now, and this was actually featured in multiple episodes with like dark red coloring and dark red here as well. So I would like to do a variant of this with that coloring as well, because I think that would look really cool. But this is just the version that would probably be hovering over Geonosis in Star Wars Episode 3. And the base is Geonosis. I originally had a black base on there, but I switched it up to be to make it look like it was hovering directly over like a Geonosian city, which I think looks really cool. I used almost the entirety of my Earth Orange collection on this base, and it turned out really nicely. I think it adds some nice color to the build. It adds makes it more visually interesting to look at. There's really not many features to this model. There's a lot of nice greebling and detailing all the way around, including on the back right here, which you can really see it because there's a larger area where it is more visible. A lot of little boxes and stuff coming in and out, and clips and everything. If we stop the turning for a minute here, we'll take a look at just the engines, because the engines were another one of the places where I had the most trouble with this, I would say. I did have some dark gray engines made for it, and I decided that these look better, and then I asked everybody on a mock update. They also agreed that the light gray ones looked a lot better. Now, the interior of the model there's no interior, but we'll take a look at the interior now. And here's what the inside looks like, actually. And for the interior, to get these the panels that go on the underside to stay, I had to figure out a combination of bricks that would allow me to slope them slightly inward so they match up with the top ones, which are just secured by ball joints here. There's a ball joint in a single spot where it's attached, so it's not a very stable model. It's more just meant for display. It's not really meant to be played with. And this piece just snaps in with clips right here, like that. And this piece is also not really stable. It's these long things here, and the middle one and this one on this side are only attached at one spot. So it's not really optimal, because ideally you want to have it attached to the top and the bottom. But I could not figure out a way to do that while keeping the very slight inward slope that these have. But I think it works out okay, because it's mainly meant to be put on the stand and just looked at. So I think it works out alright for this particular model. And then these ones on the side are just ball jointed as well, so you can put these here, and then this matches up perfectly. The geometry of this piece here and this piece here matches up perfectly. They both align right here at this point. So it looks like this one is coming in this way, and then this one's sloping back like that. It looks perfect, I think. The bottom one is not sloped at all. I think just the fact that the top one is sloped is enough for this build. It makes it look like the bottom one is also sloped. It just kind of plays a trick on your eyes there. And this piece just attaches right here. I used some colors that I didn't really need, because I wanted to save my light gray pieces for the outside of the build. So I just used some colors on the inside, kind of like official Lego sets do. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the interior of the MOC. No interior. I was thinking about doing like a place where they could hold little gunships, but there was no way to build a gunship that was in scale with this build, because this build is kind of a midi-scale MOC, so there's really no room for... There's no way to make a small gunship out of Lego pieces that would fit inside there and be in the same scale as the build. But let's take a look at the bottom now too, because I did build the bottom, and it looks pretty good, I think. Here's what the bottom of the build looks like. I was able to continue like the theme of the top with all the angles and the complex curves with the bottom, because this piece is attached with a ball joint as well. And if you detach, and it's kind of like, it really matches up perfectly with both this and the front right here, which does have a little door on it which can open. It's like just like that, because these things can land and they can like load in ATTEs and gunships and stuff through the front if they want to. So that looks really cool. It also, and it just came off, but we'll fix that later. But it also is supposed to have landing gear, but that's something that I was not able to include on this because that would have been really hard to get to be strong enough to support the entire model. And plus I wanted it to be flying above Geonosis, so I didn't think that was really necessary. But this panel here is attached via a ball joint right here on the inside. So this kind of just sits right there, and then it's attached with 3 studs with jumper 1x2 jumper plates. And this just attaches right on there. It's very hard to get oriented correctly. So this build, the reason, that's probably the main reason I did not make instructions for this build, and I did not build it on Lego Digital Designer, because it would be very hard, if not impossible, to make. Because I don't know that you can manipulate ball joints. And since I did not really use Technic for all the structure and all the interior stuff on this build, I kind of stayed with systems. So it just kind of shows that you don't need to use complex Technic mechanisms and frames on the inside of a big build like this if you want to build something very angular. Because I know that a lot of people use Technic like that on Star Destroyers and all the other kinds of Star Wars ships that they have. But I mainly stuck with system stuff, just using ball joints for all the complex angles on the inside. But the downside of that is you can't build it digitally, so I'll have to just keep this MOC built for however long I want to display it. And I think that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to leave a comment down below if you guys like this build, and if you guys have anything that you want me to build next, because I do kind of want to start taking recommendations on from you guys on what you guys want to see me build. But leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video as well. And I will see you guys in the next video.